Hi everybody, Barbara Drazga here, aka the Deal Diva, and today we're going to talk about how to get brand owners to say yes to agree to sell you their products to sell on Amazon and on other platforms. So I'll stop the share for a minute and say hello to you guys. Hi everybody, how you guys doing today? So glad you're here. Before I get started on the official presentation, I put together some slides for you. This is going to be a training, but I want to tell you about what I did, a deal I made this morning. So I had one of my wholesale suppliers reach out to me. Now right now it's February 2020, and there's a coronavirus that's hit China and other places in the world, and we don't really know how all this is going to work out right now. So one of my best-selling products, one of my suppliers reached out to me saying about a week ago, saying, "Hey, we can't get product out of China right now. What we have is what we have. Do you want to order ahead?" Okay, so normally I do 30 to 45 day turns, and I don't like product to sit in Amazon's warehouse for like 90 days, so I'm not gonna buy 90 days of products and send it to Amazon. So what we did was, first of all, he tried to raise his price, which makes sense. If you're the brand owner and you have limited quantity, you're going to try to leverage every little piece, like squeeze every piece of profit you can out of that, because you don't know when you're going to get quantity right now, because the supply chain is constricted until we don't know when. So I reminded him, the first lesson is be prepared to walk away in any deal, whether it's a real estate deal, I also do real estate, or a wholesale deal. Okay, don't worry, that doesn't work for me. So when he tried to raise my price, I said, look, I've been buying from you for 4 years or so. Go ahead and look at my invoices. I can send a couple of them to you to show you this is the price I've been paying. And by the way, I'm gonna triple my order from what I normally order today. And he said, well, we can't really, because all the reasons I just told you. And here's the key, write this down. Here's what I said. Okay, I understand completely. You've got my phone number. If you change your mind, when you're ready, give me a call. And if I still need the product, we can talk. And then I shut up. And he immediately countered with, "Oh, well, let me see what I can do. Well, let me check your invoices. Let me." And I got the price that I've been paying all along, which is a discounted price from most of his other customers' price. I mean, I really get the lowest tier pricing from the supplier. So I tripled my order. So I have 3 pallets coming. In fact, they're showing up today, but now normally I would have things go to a prep center, but it's a little bit different with this because I don't want to pay prep center fees or storage fees for the prep center. But here's what I did. Okay, so here's what I did this morning in order to take in these 3 pallets and hold a couple of them for a month and a half. I went up to a storage facility 2 minutes up the road that I have been renting from for probably close to 9 years. I have 2 big units in there now for my private label products. And I knew that there was a unit coming up that had a dirty old sofa in it that somebody had deposited. The door had been broken, they just fixed. And there's the previous tenant, I know because it's right next to one of my units, was this company that recycled oil from like restaurants. And there are these huge oil splotches all over the bottom. So I knew all of this about the unit. So I went over there personally, I didn't call them. I went into the office and said, look, that unit, which is 558, by the way, it's a corner unit. And it's right, they have a back gate to this facility that is huge, and you can roll a semi truck, back it up, and it's walking, like it's right there, just a few yards from that gate. And this storage company agrees to open up that gate for me when I have a truck come in, so the truck can just lower down the lift gate and roll the pallets into my units. And this unit is right there in the corner. So I said, look, how about I'll get the sofa out of there, and I will use some spray to kill the, to soak up that oil. And then I'll also just kind of roll something on the floor, some cement sealer on the floor, and I'll take care of that for you. What's the best deal you can give me? So what I do is I don't say, here's the deal I want. I let them name the number first, and then I negotiate from there. So here's the deal we ended up with. 6 weeks, all the way through the end of March, I get the unit for free. And it won't take me any time. And then they came back to take their lock off, and the 2 employees working there said, we'll just take the sofa out for you. Somebody with another unit had this nasty sofa, and they dumped it in that unit because the door was broken. So they actually took care of the sofa for me. So that's out of the unit. So when those 3 pallets show up today, that'll go into that storage unit, and then I can break it down in there and spoon feed it into Amazon as I need it over the next month and a half or 2 months. So that's just an example of how I work deals. It's win-win. They don't have to do anything to market the unit. They've lost a lot of money on that unit because it's been open with a broken door for several months, at least probably 3-4 months. So they're happy just to have it done and have it rented. And also to a business owner, somebody they know is going to take care of the unit and provide them regular business. So how do you guys feel about that deal? Was that like an A1 deal? Say A1 in the chat. There's a 2-sided deal, one with my supplier and one with my storage facility. Now, I'm speculating a little bit here, but I'm willing to bet that other wholesale buyers who aren't as sophisticated and haven't had the training that I have, they are not thinking ahead of what the coronavirus is going to do to their supplies. So I will have the competitive edge. If there's any other sellers on my listings, they will pretty quickly start dropping off because they can't get the product from the same suppliers I buy from, because I bought the product early in a larger quantity at the lowest price. So even if they can get the product, they're going to be charged a higher price. So I've created this competitive edge for myself just with, and I'm going to reach out to 2 other suppliers today and have this conversation with them, but just with my main selling products, my staples, right? And then what will happen is as they drop off, what's going to happen to the price? Is it going to go up or is it going to go down on Amazon? Put it in the chat. Is the price for the product on Amazon with fewer competitors? That's right, it's going to go up. So now I can raise my prices even though my costs didn't raise and my competition went down. Brilliant. Is that fun or right? This is the fun stuff that I teach and that I share with folks who are selling on Amazon. So today I'm going to teach you some of these secrets in how to get to yes. It's not going to be a comprehensive training because I couldn't possibly share everything I know and do in 45-minute or 60-minute web class, but I'm going to give you as much volume in content as I can so that you guys can go try this in your businesses right away. Okay, so I'm going to go share the screen here and let's get started. Here we go. Okay, here we go. How to get brand owners to say yes with moi, Barbara Drazga. You can go to facebook.com/groups/Deal Diva and ask me any questions in there. You can also find a ton of content on my website at dealdivawholesale.com. So let me do this. We'll bring this down here. Okay, let's dig in. So first of all, one of the biggest problems I think that Amazon sellers have, or especially if you're just getting started with Amazon, is overcoming the fear of even picking up the phone. So that's okay. It's just assume it's normal. And I wrote an article on negotiating as an introvert, and that's also on dealdivawholesale.com. You can read that, and that might give you some tips and tricks and show you how being an introvert can actually be a plus in a negotiation setting, in a conversation. So overcoming fear. Sometimes don't expect your fear of picking up the phone or sending an email or asking for something is going to go away right away. You just gotta do it. You just gotta jump in and make the call. And the more times you practice making calls to brand owners, the more conversations you have, the more times you go to a trade show and do face-to-face meetings with brand owners, you'll start getting more comfortable, right? So as you gain experience and then learn from your experiences and then implement what you've learned, you'll gain more confidence. So it really is kind of a numbers game. You got to just jump in and get started. So the first thing you need to ask yourself, a lot of Amazon sellers will send a blanket email that is completely non-personal, right? It's just a copy and paste from somewhere. They don't modify it. They don't add value. And same thing with an email. They'll read off of an email script. Hi, my name is fill in the blank. I want to sell your products on Amazon. Right? They're reading off a script. That's not conversational, and it's certainly not understanding the other person who's receiving your communication. Okay. So I had a supplier once that it was wrought iron goods, and I don't know why I need to reach out to him again. And I found him at a little local trade show, a little itty bitty local trade show, and they're from India, and he and his wife are from India, and he doesn't do email. He's old school. He picks up the phone And when he sends you a catalog, he FedExes it to you, and it's printed out on an inkjet printer, stapled in the upper left-hand corner. And the only way to order is to call him and place your order. It's awesome. You know why it's awesome? Because nobody's going to take the time to order from this guy, right? So I go to the trade show and I sit and we have a coffee, and I buy some of his like liquidation stuff and like wind chimes. That's why I didn't buy recently. It's a lot of summer products like wind chimes. So yeah, well, I connect with him at his level, in the manner that he is most comfortable with. He wants me to pick up the phone. He wants to see me face to face and have a coffee and talk about, you know, his new products coming out and what he's trying to liquidate right now. And so that community, the community building and the relationship building is really important to him and to everybody else who picks up the phone on the other end. So just imagine the person you're cold calling or sending an email, sit at their desk for a second and put their hat on and think to yourself, okay, what's going on in their day? Are they having like a crazy day from Hades and nothing's happening, and you know the things are falling off trucks and this is happening, and they've got chaos going on in the office and everybody's pulling at them wanting things, and in comes your email wanting something from them? Or worse, your cold call. How many people actually pick up their phone when it rings? If you don't see the number in the phone, like come up as a name, you don't recognize the number, we don't answer our phones anymore, right? So here comes this cold call. In their mind, it's like a spam call, and you're trying to get something from them. So their perspective is negative the minute they get your email, which they can easily delete, or your call, right? So you have to ask yourself, why should this company even want to take your call or open your email? And I'm going to help you figure out how to answer those questions in this presentation. So first, you want to ask yourself, with them, anybody heard of this? What's in it for me? What's in it for me? But not from your perspective, from their perspective. They want to know, in the back of their head, they're thinking, whether they know it or not, subconsciously, when you cold call them, they're thinking, what's in this conversation for me? What can I gain from this conversation? And if you don't address that right up front in the conversation, you've lost them. You completely lost them. So you want to use customer-centric communication to discover what's important to the supplier. What are their pain points? So let's use the example of the storage facility this morning. So they have a facility that's been sitting there unrented for 4 days, or 4 months, excuse me, because it's got a broken door on it. It's nasty inside because the previous tenant just totally trashed it. It's gross. And some other tenant dumped this gross sofa in there that's too big for one person to lift and get rid of, and nowhere to get rid of it. So those are their pain points. And then what do I bring? What's my value add? I have 2 units right next door to it. I pay automatically and on time every single month. And I'm a low, sorry, somebody just, sorry about that. Yeah, so I'm very low maintenance tenant, okay? So I know this about what they're trying to accomplish. They want that unit rented fast, and it's still not rentable because of the 2 issues that still need to be fixed. So here I walk in, and I am solving their problem just by walking in face to face and saying, I'll take that unit. I'll take care of everything. Give me a good deal. I'll make it happen for you. I solved their pain points. So I went in knowing what their pain points were and knowing how I could solve it. And when you approach a communication with a potential vendor like that, you've already gotten the yes just by understanding their problem before you pick up the phone and knowing what solution you're going to offer them is during the conversation. So you want, first of all, you want to be professional. By be professional, you've got to have a clean website. Now, where do business people hang out online? Is it Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn as a general, right? I think it's LinkedIn, right? So you've got to make sure you've got a really solid LinkedIn profile. And by the way, I scored an interview with Marcus Murphy. I'm going to be doing, I think next week, we've got it scheduled. He is an executive with Digital Marketer, and he talks about creating professional profiles on LinkedIn at high-end events, and he's practically impossible to lock down and get to. But I was at a real estate mastermind last week where he was speaking, and I approached him during the break and I asked if I could interview him, and he said yes, and he just emailed me back this morning saying we can do it next week. So I have got access to these crazy cool people that are in these really high-end masterminds. So I'm blessed to be able to bring that information to you. So he's going to talk to us about how to actually create a LinkedIn profile that a business, a corporation, your vendors are going to, you're creating credibility for yourself when you have social media and website, a footprint that is on their level professionally. It doesn't look like you're some little guy working out of his garage, which you could be and still be quite successful selling on Amazon. But to them, they see that that's like a ding, that's a negative to them. So you want to appear as professional as you can in the places where they go to check you out. They go to research you. You want to, this is going to set yourself apart from pretty much most of the third-party sellers who don't do these little things, okay? So the next thing you want to do, and by the way, you don't have to know how to do everything. You can outsource pretty much everything to people who know more than you do about creating value-added services for a brand owner. But you need to know, you need to have specific knowledge of how their brand is represented on Amazon before you even pick up the phone. Again, this is kind of arming your toolbox before you pick up the phone so you can get to yes quickly on that first call. So what I do is I create a report card, and I actually created this image where it says report card at the top, and then I go to their website and I either download the image of their company or just their company. I've just put their company name at top. And then I'll take one or two of their listings on Amazon. Well, first of all, I'll find as their brand on Amazon, how their products are being represented. I'll take a screenshot of kind of the whole catalog, and then I'll zero in on a couple of the listings that are selling well but are not optimized at all. And I'll create a report card for them saying, you know, here's who's selling your stuff. Maybe you didn't know you had a lot of sellers, what the quality of your listings are. Maybe some of their buyers, their Amazon sellers are telling them that they're optimizing their listing, but they're not. They should know this, right? So we tell them what the quality of the listing from an A to an F or scale of 1 to 10, what their gross monthly sales are on Amazon. A lot of them don't even know it. They don't even know what they're selling on Amazon. I'll even a lot of times look at their competitors. If they're in a competitive space and there's 2 or 3 other companies that have greater brand recognition or less brand recognition and they're doing better than this, that's something the brand owner wants to know. And then sponsored ads, you know, are there any sponsored ads running? Again, it could be that some of their sellers have said, yeah, we'll run sponsored ads for you, but there are no ads running. So we'll give them a report card of what their Amazon footprint, what do their products look like on Amazon? And that gets their attention of, oh, wow, I didn't know that. So now we're kind of poking the bear. If they don't know what their problems are, we're telling them what their problems are. You got a sofa in your storage unit, right? And then we can offer a plan of action. So we're instilling fear in them if their listings are not doing well. We're saying, look, don't panic. Don't panic. We got your back. Here's what we can do to help you when, and I use the word when instead of if, when we're selling your products on Amazon and there are fewer other sellers, quality sellers on your listings. Here's what we can do to help you. So we basically tell them, this is what's wrong, and here's the solution during that one conversation. So we tell them how we can increase your sales through improved listings, enhanced brand content, bundling opportunities, advertising that you don't need to know everything, you know, better photos. If you're not a photographer, this is stuff you can outsource. You can outsource lifestyle photos. And if you go to dealdivawholesale.com, I did an article on this amazing tool that's like super cheap. It's a one-time fee, and I can do all sorts of, I can strip out the background on images. I can create lifestyle images using the tool. And then from those lifestyle images, I can actually create ads on a bunch of different social media platforms. It's like a couple $100 a year, totally worth it. Go to dealdivawholesale.com and look for that article and sign up for that. So provide added value. Here's some more things you can do. Advertising and reporting opportunities. Reducing the number of sellers. Tell them, look, the more sellers you have on their listings, it doesn't mean they're selling more product. It doesn't, right? So you have to help them understand, you have to teach them that all sellers are not created equal, and that there are quality sellers and there are just regular sellers, and that you are a quality seller, and you can help them figure out who the other quality sellers are, or ask for an exclusive and being the only seller on at least one of their products. And that's the first ask I do, is I ask for an exclusive on one product to show them what I could do. So you can offer to invest a percentage of your monthly gross sales on a listing into PPC, or on several occasions I've been able to negotiate, tell them, look, we'll run your pay-per-click campaign for you and we'll just send you a bill. So they pay for the pay-per-click campaign so they don't have to manage it or set it up. And again, that's something you can outsource. You don't have to know how to do that. You just have to get, if there's one skill that you could build for your wholesale sourcing on Amazon, just one skill to focus on, you had to choose, it would be your negotiation skills. And everything else can be outsourced. Your communication skills with brand owners, creating relationships with brand owners is platinum. It's not even gold, it's platinum. Because here's the thing. I know there was a student of the Wholesale Formula, Merrick, who just sold, he built a brand up, just one brand with an exclusive, and built their sales up to be able to sell just that account. He sold the contract of an exclusive for that account up to, I think he made $400,000 last year just selling that one account. So when you get really, really good at negotiation, you're creating an asset in your business in the form of that relationship with that supplier, a contract with that supplier. You can just sell that contract, or you can get enough of these going to sell your Amazon business as an asset in and of itself. That's kind of like the bigger picture. So if you could choose one skill to get good at, it's negotiation. So I see that we've got some comments over here. I'm going to just double check over in the comments and see if you have any questions in the chat, and also to make sure you can still hear me. Sometimes somebody comments and says, oops, can't hear you. Are these resources available that show how to properly add being an Amazon seller to your LinkedIn profile? I will, when I interview Marcus next week, we'll do it from the perspective of presenting yourself as an Amazon expert and seller in your LinkedIn profile. So I will copy down this question and make sure that I ask Marcus that question during the short answer is yes, but he's going to show us where we should put it and how. Okay. Leverage economies of scale. So just like I did with the supplier last week, who sent me the email saying, hey, do you want to place a larger order based on our limited product availability right now? So anytime I increase the number of products that I'm ordering or the number of SKUs, I will ask for a better price. And it doesn't matter how long I've been buying from the supplier, I will always keep asking for a better price, right? So don't be afraid to ask, because the worst they can say is no. And then I'll negotiate. The no doesn't even mean no, because I can say, well, how about if I do this? No. Or what if I do this? Okay, let me think about it. So I will ask different questions in different ways to try to solve the problem to get to a better price. And then you can ask to place a test order or a smaller quantity at that price, with the understanding after you test it and the product does well, you'll reorder regularly. You can ask for a higher quantity price on a smaller initial order. That's what I just said. Always keep negotiating on a price and terms, and be prepared to walk away. So by be prepared to walk away, the power in a negotiation between parties lies in the person who cares the least. Anybody ever heard that before? So and maybe I didn't care the least. Maybe I really wanted that product from the supplier last week, but I don't let him know that, okay? So when he said, no, we can't lower, we can't give you that price we've been giving you because of this, that, I let him know that I was prepared to walk away by responding. I'm going to say this response to you again so you can make notes on it. I said, that's okay, I understand. So I was positive about it. I wasn't, oh, what's wrong with you complaining? You don't do that. Positive, okay, no worries, I understand. You have my phone number. If you change your mind, give me a call. And if I'm still interested, we can go from there. So I planted the seed of doubt. Now he feels that he's got someone ready to hang up the phone, and he's lost a 3-pallet order. Someone who pays their bills immediately, orders regularly for the past 4 years. Now he's potentially not just losing some unknown person, he's losing a regular customer. So the way that I worded it was, if I'm still interested. I took off the table that I was desperate for this product. So because I was prepared to walk away, I believe that's why he honored his price, and I'm getting 3 pallets today. So ask for terms after you've, not immediately. You don't want to say, hey, I really want to sell your product. You go through this whole conversation. I can do a better job. Here's what I'm going to do. But you haven't proved any of that. It's just words. So the first ask should be something small, like it could be something as simple as a test order. It could be an exclusive for maybe a product that they're not selling very well, but they could do better just because the listing's not good. So you ask for an exclusive just on that one product. But after you've established yourself as a regular buyer with them, then you can ask for terms. So 90-day terms, 60-day terms, 30-day terms. So basically, they're footing the bill for your inventory for 30 days while you sell it, and that frees up that capital to invest in other products. So that's a little bit further down the road in the communication, in the relationship, but know that that's on the table. And then another thing that I ask is, I've got one supplier that I've purchased from, gosh, I found them at ASD, and I've been buying from them for about 3 years, 3.5 years or so. And because we have this relationship, they will ship me, the first thing I do is, they're a liquidation company. So I'll say to them, he even says it back to me now before I even ask. He'll say, hey, Barbara, we have this product. And I will say, Brad, what's the best price you can give me if I buy it all? What's the best price you can give me when I buy it all? So he actually he doesn't even wait for that question anymore. He says, here's your best price when you buy it all in the emails, right? But then I negotiated, instead of them paying 2.9 or 3.5% in credit card fees, they let me send them a check or a wire, depending on the cost. But I'll send them a check. They mail the product before they get the check. They'll say, okay, we'll get these on pallets for you. We'll ship those pallets today. Mail me a check. So after it's all relationship based. It's all based on trust, understanding what their needs are, and having consistently good, positive interactions with these people. And by the way, they're people. We're not buying from a company. We're buying from a person who works at that company or who owns the company. So the faster you realize that it's all about making a connection with that person, the faster you're going to be successful selling wholesale on Amazon, in my opinion. So I can even leverage further discounts since I'm saving them money. I say, look, I'll save you the 3% on the credit card fees. Can you take 2% off my order? So I'm not asking for the whole 3%. I'm splitting that savings with them, right? So it's win-win. That's the other thing, is I like to create win-win opportunities. So let me scooch over to the chat because I saw another question here and see if it's anything relevant to what we're talking about before I go forward. Is it a good idea to send products to a fulfillment facility, or is it okay to have companies send it straight to Amazon? Great question. So I use a conglomeration of, I have 2 prep companies that I use, but I have a whole list of prep companies. And by the way, that's also on dealdevawholesale.com. I have a directory of prep companies that you can interview. And the reason I use 2 is because they're in different parts of the country. So if I've got, like, the pallets coming in today are coming in from New Jersey. So if I were to send them to a prep company, I would have them send them to an East Coast prep company. And my LA suppliers, I will have things sent to a prep company that's closer to the West Coast. Okay. So you can use prep companies. I have several people who work for me locally on demand, so they're not regular employees. I'll make a couple of calls or messages and say, hey, can you do a few hours of prep for me this week? And they'll come in and do the prep and then leave. And we do it out of the storage facility. We've got electric in the storage facility. And then you asked, is it okay to have the company send in straight to Amazon? Yes and no. So first of all, that's never the first ask. After the relationship is developed, I will ask them if that's something that we can do, but I have to train them how to do it. Because the last thing you want is to have products show up in Amazon and there's no FNSKU labels in it, or they've done it incorrectly, or it's prepped incorrectly, right? So not all products. So some of my boxes are like blankets, okay? But they're in the case and not individually polybagged. Everything's in one giant polybag. So they have to be taken out, individually polybagged, and repacked into that case. So if a supplier doesn't understand how to prep, they're just going to send a case of blankets into Amazon, and Amazon's going to kick it back to you and say, no, sorry. And then your product is now sitting there on Amazon's dock, trying to figure out, because they don't immediately send you a notice saying this wasn't done properly. It'll sit there in their pile of rejects, and then they'll get around to telling you. So now you've got money tied up, and you've got product sitting there that now has to be mailed back to you so you can prep it, order a prep center, so you can prep it and send it back in. So you have to be really careful. It is absolutely doable. I have one supplier who is brilliant at it. He's really good at it. He has a warehouse guy who knows what I have requirements. I sent him an SOP. This is how you do it. and I have utmost confidence in him and trust in him that they will do it properly. And we did have a glitch once a couple of years ago, and he just fixed it. No problem. He was, I'm so sorry about this. We'll get it fixed because we have a great relationship. So the answer is yes, but it's got to be done right. It's not your first ask with the supplier, and that'll happen over time with a significant amount of due diligence and training. Okay. So streamline your process. That leads us, thank you for that segue. Ask supplier to prep and ship to Amazon for you, but again, not right away. And I would even, if I am not opposed at all to getting on a plane and after a relationship is developed with the supplier over the course of time and going to their warehouse and meeting with them face to face and seeing their offices. And, you know, that's a great way to also see what new products they're developing too, and to negotiate an exclusive and to offer value to them on their new product before it's even launched. And then you can go into the warehouse and say, okay, I see what you're doing here with our product. How can we help you learn how to prep our product properly really fast? And so you'd be willing to get on a plane and go talk to your suppliers face to face. Automate your reorders with technology. There's a ton of tools out there that if you know a product is turning in 30 or 45 or 60 days, I try to get it to 30 or 45 days at the most, then the technology will automatically trigger an email with an order to your supplier. And then you can ask suppliers to bundle for you. I have one supplier who does this. I use prep centers and my local folks to do the rest. And by the way, I'm probably about 75% wholesale, and I have a lot of replenishables, which I like. So things that sell over and over again, a lot of times to the same customer. So I have repeat orders. So I have that base of wholesale in my business no matter what else happens. And then another, I guess 20% is bundles. I would say it's probably like 75, 70, 30, something like that. So a good portion of wholesale and then bundles to supplement the wholesale. And then I've just started in private label last year. So I'm building out 2 micro brands in 2 niche markets on and off Amazon. So, but primarily I'm a wholesale seller with bundles. And then ask for the deal you want. Don't be afraid to ask, right? First, but you've got to make sure you're asking the right person. So do you have the right person on the phone? Is it the secretary of the sales department who says, yeah, Craig's out of the office right now, but I can give him your message? Or is it the sales manager? Or is it the vice president of sales? So make sure you're working your way up the chain so that you're asking the questions for the person who has the decision-making ability. I see another question in the chat here. Let me scooch over to make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself. All right. Can prep centers put everything in poly bags if you want them to? Well, that is the purpose of a prep center. An Amazon prep, a prep center is not Amazon. A prep center is a third-party prep center. It's a company like Cajun Prep, okay, by my buddy Paul Saucier. He recently launched that company. And by the way, I'm going to tell you at the end of this how you can take advantage of some discounts with some prep centers too at the end of this presentation. So prep centers, their job is to know what Amazon wants in your products and to the prep by polybagging, covering up the UPC code, putting on your bundles or multi-packs that this is a multi-pack, do not separate, putting on, making sure that it has the suffocation labels on it, putting your offense cue label on it, all the things that are required, making sure that the polybag is not too big for your product so there's not a lot of overhang. So all the requirements that Amazon has and a lot of times changes, they know how to do that. That is their job. That's why we pay them a fee to prep our individual products. So I highly recommend, you know, when you interview a prep center, that's the other thing I would do. When I choose prep centers, I will go to their facility and watch them prep stuff because I want to know that they're doing a great job because my account is at risk if they don't. So the answer is, can prep centers put everything in poly bags if you want to? Yes, and more. That's their job. Okay, here we go. Use the if-then clause. Pardon me. So the if-then clause is, if I take them all, then what's the best price you can give me? And this works with pretty much everything. So the storage unit this morning, if I get rid of the couch and I clean up the oil spills in that storage facility, then what's the best you can do for me? Right? And I usually leave the then clause kind of open-ended until they name a number. It was, I've been in real estate investing since 1998. Yeah, 98 was the first property I bought. And I had a mentor back then called Bill Bronchick, and he told me 2 things. When you're rolling up to a property you own, appear broke, So don't drive up in my Benz. I drive up on my 2004 Honda minivan, right? A pure broke. And then the other thing is that if you're not embarrassed by the offer, it's too high. And then the third thing was never be the first to name a number. So if possible, never be the first to name a number. So I won't ask, what's your price? I'll say, if I buy them all, what's my best price? I won't say, I'm willing to pay you $3 a unit for that. I'll wait for them to set the price and then negotiate down from there if possible. But I use the if I do this, and at the end of the if is your value proposition. If I run 30 days of pay-per-click on this one SKU, what can you do for me? If I agree to optimize this one listing completely, what's the best price you can give me, or whatever, right? So you tell them what value you can bring to them first. If I do this, then what will you give me in return? And that's reciprocity. Okay, so that triggers the reciprocity. Instead of just saying, what's the best price you can give me, which so many sellers do, that's definitely the wrong way to approach it, because you're trying to gimme, get from these people. Give first, and then the prosperity comes. That's how I run my businesses. And call with an action. So any conversation, in fact, you'll see me on this webinar. I'm going to tell you to take an action, or ask you to take an action, invite you to take an action. And you do that with any email and call. So it's not just this flat email. You want them to engage with you. So on the call, I might say, thank you. This is a great conversation. I will send a follow-up email to you, and with an invite to have a further conversation next Wednesday. Or thank you for allowing me to place this first order. Please, I will follow up with an email with the order, and please send the order within 48 hours or something like that. So it keeps the interaction going. It's kind of having, you start with momentum on the call and the email. You want to keep the momentum going, not just have it fall flat. So in an email, I'm going to follow up with every conversation I have. Anybody who engages with me, I'm going to follow up, but I'm going to say thank you. And here, and if you share something personal with them, a personal story, like I had one supplier once, I was just having a heck of a time. And it's a company that I bought from on multiple occasions, but something happened and their communication went wazoo. It went away, right? They ghosted me, but not me, but everybody. So I finally get the president of the company on the phone, and apparently his father had just died. I mean, stop conversation there. That's more important than any orders, right? So we had a conversation. My mom had just passed away about 9 months earlier, and I gave him some information about being an executor and some insight on what I went through legally and tax-wise with her estate. So I was able to connect him as a person. And then when I followed up, I said, look, I'm really sorry to hear about the passing of your dad. Thank you for picking up the call and taking my call this morning in the middle of this craziness you're going through. Don't worry about anything. When you cycle back around, let's say, I'll contact you in 3 weeks and see whether or not you're ready to have a conversation about a product. And so you always want to follow up with an email that reiterates something you talked about during your conversation, and thanking them for their time, because our time and their time is an irreplenishable resource. So if someone's gifting you their time, then tell them thank you in any instance, right? And then I also try to do an added value piece. So if they tell me what one of their problems is, yeah, man, we've got this issue with the seller who's tanking the prices, I might find an article for them, or do a quick video saying, here's how you manage an Amazon listing with too many sellers, whatever it is. Or they say, we're having trouble optimizing our titles on our listings. What can we do? I'll send them an article I wrote on how to optimize your titles by doing keyword research. So I'll always include an added value piece based on the conversation we had. And it could be something like in that gentleman's case, it was, here's a link to a resource that I found when I was trying to figure out how to handle my mom's estate. I didn't know what to do, like legal issues and tax issues. Here's where I started. Here's a link to that article. So I'm keeping the conversation going. I'm saying thank you, and I'm giving them something that they need. So they're going to remember me from that first interaction as somebody who wants to help them do business better. Okay. Okay, so what nugget are you going to implement from these? Now, I can't possibly tell you everything I know about negotiating or marketing in one short webinar, but I have given you some things that you can try right now. So put in the chat, what are some of the things that you can implement right now in your Amazon business based on what we talked about today. Go ahead and put that in the chat. I'll come over to the chat and take a look at those. And then also put in the chat any questions you have that you want to ask me about negotiating, and I will answer this. By the way, if you're watching me on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below, and also that little bell, and when you click that, it'll give you a little ding-a-ling in your email letting you know that I created a new video. And I'm always trying to put out new content. Not trying to, I am diligent about putting out content, both video and written, on my blog at dealdivawholesale.com. And you can find me on Facebook. My name is Barbara Drazga. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments and also tell me what you're going to implement. And while you're doing that, I want to share with you, I'm sure you've seen the emails this week, and there's just a couple days left. So you're going to see some more emails from me, but I wanted to invite you to join the Wholesale Formula, which is where I learned basically how I started selling wholesale on Amazon 4 years ago. I enrolled for the Wholesale Formula program, and it's lifetime access. I'm still in there. I'm very active in the alumni group that you get access to when you enroll in the Wholesale Formula. And I will answer a lot of questions about negotiating and bundles in that group for you. And it changed the trajectory of my business when I learned how to let the numbers speak for me in my sourcing decisions. And I learned all of that in the Wholesale Formula. You can go to there's a free workshop right now that's open just for another couple of days, freewholesaleworkshop.com, and there's 4 lessons in there. You can hear Dan and Dylan from the Wholesale Formula teaching you their entire process. And then when you're ready, you can enroll in the Wholesale Formula, but you've got to do it by Thursday night, the night before Valentine's Day. Give yourself a Valentine's Day gift. Enroll in the Wholesale Formula at gettwf.com. And you can also, I'm going to sweeten the pot for you. Go to twfbonus.com, and I am going to gift you, you can add it up yourself, $6,000 of bonuses. And I'm going to show you what they are here. And you can go ahead and go to twfbonus.com, and you can read them all for yourself. But I wanted to make you aware of my fast action bonuses. They're going to shortcut. There's only 12 hours left. You got to get them by tonight, Tuesday night, tonight, the 11th at 11:59 p.m. You have Pacific time to get my fast action bonuses in addition to all my other bonuses. Okay, here are all the bonuses you're going to get when you enroll in the Wholesale Formula from me. And by the way, I'm the Vendor Edge course. You just got a little piece of that Vendor Edge course today in this Getting to Yes with Wholesale Suppliers. I'm going to dump all my knowledge into a high-level course, everything I know about negotiating strategies, and then also my marketing strategies that you can offer as value propositions to your suppliers. And I'm giving all that plus a whole bunch more for free. Automation and delegation front. I'm buying you 20 hours of virtual assistant services. I'm buying you a Vendrive account and a repricer account. I'm buying you a product bestseller products list, a seller's database. Buying you a website. I'm going to create your website for you. I've got a website developer on staff, and he will create a value proposition website for you. Costs about $500 normally to do it. I'm going to buy you a computer so you can work anywhere in your business, or give you a $150 Amazon gift card, your choice. But most importantly, here are my fast action bonuses when you enroll by tonight. I'm giving you a replenishables. You guys know how I love replenishables, and a replenishable is any consumable product that people use over and over, like filters, hair care products, groceries. So I'm going to give you a sourcing list of 525 grocery items that are above $20. Okay, I'm not going to give you any cheapo ones for $8 that you can't make any money on or lose money on. Any above $20, using the criteria that I learned in the Wholesale Formula. And we do something called data append, where we go into these lists and we'll find the vendor's website. So we have a starting point to contact the vendor. I'm going to put those links for those grocery items in that file for you, okay? And that's free. I'm creating that for you. And then we're going to give you 500 vetted wholesale suppliers that you can immediately start contacting, setting accounts, and practicing your new negotiation skills. And then I'm even going to give you the ability to scan their wholesale files through Tactical Arbitrage. I'm going to buy you a month of Tactical Arbitrage for free. So go ahead to gettwf.com to enroll in the course. Go through this link and you will get all my bonuses. And to look at all my bonuses, go to twfbonus.com and go take a look at all the bonuses and take advantage tonight of the fast action bonuses. And then take a look at all the other bonuses I've created or curated specifically for you. And every single one of these bonuses, by the way, every one of them is related to building a wholesale business. None of these have anything to do with retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, anything. It is all about kind of bolting on my bonuses to make what you're learning in the wholesale formula even more powerful. Okay, so let's go and answer some questions here. What kind of questions do you have on wholesale or on locking down wholesale suppliers? Did you put in that chat? And also tell me in the chat, what are you going to work on today? What is that nugget you're going to implement today? Okay, I don't see anything in the chat, so I'll give you another couple minutes to put in your chat. What is your burning question about wholesale? And what is the one nugget you're going to implement in your wholesale business today? Because I want to give you encouragement and inspiration to go ahead and do that. Okay. All right, I don't see anything in the chat, so you guys are pros. Thank you so much for being on here today. Again, my name is Barbara Drazga. You can find me on Deal Diva Wholesale. Let me stop the share. DealDivaWholesale.com, and you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/Deal Diva. Ask me anything about selling on Amazon, wholesale, e-com selling, bundling, and I'm happy to help you. Thanks so much for being on the call today, guys. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Let me know how I can inspire you in your business as we move forward. You're welcome. I see the thank yous in the chat. Thanks, guys. You rock. Have a great day. Talk to you later.